Hey guys, so just a quick note before the video starts. I had filmed a big chunk of footage that was supposed to be going into this video, adding more info and details about the second trimester that I'm currently in because I am 18 weeks and about 1 day so far. And I just realized while editing that my camera, for some stupid reason, did not record during that chunk of time. So I'm really, really annoyed right now and I'm really pissed. I'm gonna have to refilm that part and make it a separate video. Um, so yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I literally can't remember when the last time that I actually sat down and made a video with you guys like this was. I think it wasn't even in Canada. I think it was maybe a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, like an actual sit down video. So So basically, as you saw from the title, this video is a first trimester, second trimester update video type thing. I'm just going to discuss my symptoms, maybe some tips, what I've noticed, and even the differences in between the first and second trimester. Because at least for me, there were a lot of changes, like a lot. And I think most of you know that second trimester is known to be much, much better than the first, which is the case for me. With everything. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I think I have some notes here. I can easily talk about this all from the top of my head because it is so fresh, but I did make some notes because I know that if I do try and do that, I am going to forget many things. Okay, so I think I'm going to answer the first thing many people were probably wondering, and that's how did you know you are pregnant, or like did I feel any different, or what's the thing that takes something off in my head. And I think first thing I'm gonna start with, I think, is what I felt before I got like a positive pregnancy test, and if I felt any different, and if I did, what that was. I know I'm still super tiny, but it's getting really hard to breathe and like make full sentences, so bear with me if I get out of breath in this video. So basically the first thing was I have a dog, clearly Leo. You can probably see him if I didn't cut it out the screen. He's right here. And I've had him for about 2 years, and it's pretty normal to me to clean up after him, like his poop or anything like that on walks. And I don't really get grossed out from it or gag from it. I think it's just like a dog mom thing, I guess, for most people, or a majority of people, I guess you can say, who have pets. So that never really grossed me out or made me gag, not even the slightest. And I think when I was about like 3 weeks pregnant, maybe a few days, or I'd say like a day before I got a positive test, I was cleaning up after Leo, and I was going down to pick up his poop, and right even before I could like touch it with like the poop bag or whatever and scoop it up, I ran to the toilet, and I'm not even joking, and it's so fresh in my mind because you really don't think it happens like the movies, but that's how it happened for me. I picked up before I could pick up his poop, I ran to the toilet, puked everything that was in my stomach, whatever I had eaten that day, everything. It just came gushing out, and I just remember super clearly that the smell, because during pregnancy, if you guys don't know, your sense of smell gets extremely stronger, like extremely, like everything you smell is basically triple or double. So that's pretty weird for me. So I just remember puking, and I was like, that's his poop smells so bad, and it usually doesn't because he has a pretty, I would say, pretty healthy diet. But it just smelled so foul to me, and I didn't understand why. So that was the very first thing in my head. I was like, okay, that's super weird. I've never, in the 2 years that I've had him, puked at the thought of even picking up his poop or anything like that. So that was the first things. The second thing is for 3 days straight, 3 to 4 days straight, I had this huge craving for the same exact lunch, and I had to have it every day. And if I didn't, I would almost cry, and that was a veggie sub from Subway and a large McDonald's fry, which is so, well, it's not that weird of a combo when you think about it, but I had to have it, like the full foot-long veggie sub, my side of fries, every day for 4 days straight, and it just felt like I love Subway, and I think many people do, but it just felt like pure heaven those 4 days when I was eating it. I was literally like, oh my god, how, like, where have you been all my life? Why didn't I eat this sooner? So that was another thing. The third thing I'd say is, I would say overall, because of a strict skincare regime that I've been on for years, my skin doesn't really break out. I'll get the occasional zit, occasionally, like every 3 to 4 months maybe, but I don't really break out or get blemishes or skin issues, because I'm pretty sure I have my skin figured out at this point, and because I studied and went into the skincare industry, I kind of have everything understood about how to care for my skin and keep it in its best shape. So around that same time, I started getting textural issues and like blemishes and bumps on my skin. It wasn't anything like extreme, like all full face, but I did notice, like, I'd wake up one day, I'd have a blemish here, and then the next day I'd have a blemish here, or I don't know, it was just like, for me it was a big deal because, like I said, I don't get acne or breakout, so I was like, okay, what's happening with my skin? And I just remember it also looking horrible, like horrible, like pale, and not pale as in like white, because clearly I'm very pale, pale as in like yellow and sick looking, and there was like no color in it. And it's ironic because they say, everyone talks about like the pregnancy glow, but I'm pretty sure I have that now in the second trimester, thankfully. But these are, keep in mind, these are all things I'm mentioning right now before I knew I was pregnant. So I noticed my skin, especially my T-zone, was extremely greasy, and I don't have an oily skin type. My pores they're not really visible on the sides of my nose or cheeks. I have a normal skin type, so I never really get greasy skin, and that was another thing. I was like, okay, this is weird. I don't feel like myself. And I blamed almost all of that on just like the travels I went through, because we had just landed and had been traveling for a while, and settled back home here. So I was like, okay, maybe my skin just had this switch from traveling. It'll balance itself out. That wasn't the case. It did not. For about a month and a half, I still felt that way. But like I said, I took a test and it was immediately positive. I think I was 3 weeks pregnant when I did get a positive test. I could have been 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks I'd say. I got my positive test November, I want to say like November 8th, but I don't know if that's too early or too late. The dates, like there's so many dates in my head, I don't remember. But I do know it was like early November-ish, and I had a shoot that day downtown. I had gotten home, and honestly, this is the one thing I do regret. I mean, not like regret, but I do wish I had done it differently. I came home that day from a shoot, and once again, I had half of my veggie sub sandwich in the fridge saved specifically for that night, waiting for me for when I come home. And I remember during that shoot, I was like, I just can't wait to go home, take my makeup off, and just devour that sandwich. I opened my fridge, and what do I see? It's gone. Of course, who had eaten it? My husband. So I was pretty pissed about that. I'm just kidding, not pissed. But I was pretty upset, and that once again was like weird for me, because when you're married, you're used to your spouse eating most of your food. But I remember that day being like, oh my god, how could you, you monster. So that was funny. But yeah, the one thing I was saying that I regret or wish I had done differently is, I remember we had gotten the test, and I wanted to wait for him the next day until he went to work so that I could take it, specifically, and like surprise him or whatever when he came home. But stupid me didn't listen to him, and he was like, take it now, take it now. I think it was like 9 p.m. that day when I got home, and I was like, ugh, fine. I took it and I put it down like on the counter near the toilet, like thinking it's gonna be negative. And I just was like, yeah, whatever, you know, go on with my day. But then I remember looking to my left, because that's where my sink is, and I saw like the X, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? And I just remember saying, Ala, and he was like, what is it? I think he knew deep down because he sensed that something was off with me, but I was like, you have to come see this. And then he was just full on, like, we were obviously both excited, but I've never seen him that excited. Like, the smile on his face was kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. First 2 weeks, I just couldn't believe it. Obviously, I called my family doctor and made an appointment with an OB, and now I have an amazing OB who is great and takes great care of me and the baby. So that basically sums up, well, no, that doesn't sum it up. Let me go back. Okay, so that's basically the beginning of the first trimester before I knew I was pregnant, and then when I got the positive test. After that, there was no nausea at first. So from, I'd say, week 3 to 6, I was completely fine. I was like, I think that's when I first filmed my video for YouTube about like what I eat the first trimester type thing. I was eating salads and fruits and vegetables, and I was like, this is gonna be so easy. No, I spoke too soon. Because immediately after that week 6 of pregnancy, which is technically like the first month is done, finished, extreme, very, very bad nausea kicked in. And when I say nausea, I mean like I could not even down water, and it was getting really, really worrying at that point because I would take like the smallest sip of water and then it would all just come gushing out. For the entire first trimester, I would say I looked extremely ill. My skin was yellow. I looked really sick. I was dehydrated. I was taking my prenatals as soon as I found out I was pregnant, but at that point I didn't feel like it was doing anything because I wasn't able to down anything. Like, even when my husband came home, because I couldn't cook, I couldn't do laundry, I was basically the most useless human for those first like 1 to 2 months, I'd say. When he'd come home, I'd be literally crawling on the floor like, do you have my food? Okay, great, thanks. And by food, I mean like I was living off of like baked potatoes and soup, and I was lucky if I could keep those down. My nausea would subside by 6 p.m. almost every day, most of the time. I did occasionally puke my dinner after 6 p.m., but that was, I would say, more rare than puking during the day. So I wouldn't really, it's true when they say it's not called like morning, it's called morning sickness for no reason, because mine started from the moment I woke up until like 6 p.m. So I could not eat anything at that point. I would try and it would just go back to the toilet. I know some moms get nausea, but they don't actually puke. Kudos to you. I'm so jealous. That wasn't the case with me. I was puking up to 5 times a day, and even when my stomach was empty, there's something some pregnant women get, which is called like dry heaving. And I didn't know what that was till I got pregnant, and it's basically when you're just constantly, your stomach has this like reflex and you're just gagging constantly, like it's not in your control. So anytime I'd be watching TV, I'd just constantly be dry heaving. It was the most annoying thing, and I'm really, really pale, like I said, well, to me at least. So I would get like these, that's like a genetic thing, I've had this since I was little, broken blood vessels all along like the bottom of my eyes, like my lower, what's it called, lower eyelids, I guess you could call it. Anytime I dry heave or puke, I would like break the vessels under my eye, and it would have like little red dots which looked like red freckles. It was the weirdest thing. That lasted for about, I would say, from week 6 to 11 and a half, or week 6 to 11. So a couple weeks of that I went through. I was even losing weight at my appointments, which they said is common for most people who have nausea, because of course I was puking, I couldn't keep water down, my body wasn't getting enough nutrients, so I was going down in the weight section instead of gaining up, right? So, and I'm clearly, everyone knows like I'm a small person, I'm very petite. I don't know my current weight. I will find out at my next appointment, but if I were to guess, I wouldn't say that I weigh more than 95 pounds right now, which is fine, you know, because weight goes hand in hand with height. And I'm about like 5'0", 5'1", if I'm lucky, like just right at the dot. So like my OB is not worried or anything like that. I did gain a few pounds, which is great. I just started feeling like myself again. So first trimester, the first few weeks were great, and then when it hit week 6 to 11, it all went downhill. I was really, really ill. I couldn't do nothing. I basically laid in bed all day, which also prevented me from working as well, because I couldn't imagine being in a spa environment and just dry heaving all the time, or trying to hide my dry heaving while working so closely with people. So that was an issue. I believe second trimester starts at week 12, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, someone correct me in the comments. But I did remember that week 11 in a few days, my nausea fully went away. Another thing about the nausea in the first trimester, it's not only like if you eat something, it was just the smell. I couldn't be in the kitchen. God bless my husband, because he completely took over all the house chores, like all of them. He would work full time, come home, do piles of dishes, do the laundry, do everything, and he was, honestly, God bless him. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all that you did in the first time, and he still continues to help out. But I mean, I'm not as useless as I was before, so I couldn't be in the kitchen. Even opening the fridge, I would run and puke. And it was like the weirdest thing, that even like the smell of like a banana or something, like anything, just smells in general, off limits. First trimester, I don't even think I ate a piece of chicken or anything like that. Chicken was like a huge food aversion for me. I'm gonna try and read if I have any notes right now. Yeah, so I had mild nausea in the first, like at the week 3, but it was nothing bad, and I was like, this is gonna be a walk in the park. I spoke too soon, like I said. I had really, which was scary, severe cramping from week 3 to 6. At one point I was even crying, like in my bed, and I was like, do I call, like, do I go to the hospital? Like, what if this is, I knew I was pregnant, but they always say like severe cramping is not normal. Throughout your entire pregnancy, you will feel some sort of mild cramping and stretching, and that's called round ligament pain. It's just your uterus and your womb, I guess it is a room for the baby, your womb, making space to grow and stretch, in order for the baby to have room to grow. So mild cramping is okay, as long as it's not accompanied by bleeding or anything like that. But I had severe cramping for about 3 weeks, and it was severe because my menstrual cramps are really, really bad, and this was, I would say, worse almost. I still don't know what that was. Maybe it was just my body preparing or something like that, but that was scary. I do have my energy back now in the second trimester. I will get back to that in a bit. I'm just finishing up in the first trimester. Basically from weeks 3 and 4, I was snacking every few hours. I couldn't have actual meals. Anything big that I put into my body, like a big meal or a large amount of liquid, I would just puke out right away. My appetite rised in week 6, and then it went down again. The bathroom thing. So first trimester in the beginning, up until like week 7, constantly in the washroom, constantly. And then after week 7, that subsided, and that was great. And then now second trimester, I'm about 18 weeks and 1 day today, and I get up at least 12 times at night, which is so annoying, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm not the only one. Towards the second month of the first trimester, so like weeks 8 and 9, I had my huge Subway craving again, and that just I've noticed that comes and goes, so I guess baby boy really likes Subway for some reason. Weird, but yeah. My skin did start to clear up in the second trimester. So this is the part where I was going to fully explain the second trimester and all the changes compared to the first. But like I said, my camera really let me down and did not capture everything that I said, so I will be making a part 2 of this video. And that's what I'm going to get into now. Oh wait, before that, I was looking for my food aversions, right? So my food aversions in the first trimester, and obviously those are mainly gone now, were anything chicken related, eggs, because I did vomit those up at one point, and I think it kind of scared my body. I went to Lone Star twice in my first trimester with my husband, like the fajita spot. I'm sure you guys know where that is. And I can't even look at it anymore. Even till now, like, I can't. It makes me gag so bad in the second trimester. I don't know what it was because it's weird. I never puked it up or felt sick from it, but I don't think the baby likes it. So that's one of my only aversions right now. I also couldn't eat anything with garlic in the first trimester. What else? It was garlic, chicken. Oh, this is a weird one. Chocolate and cake were one of my food aversions. I don't even know how that makes sense. And that scared me because I was like, is this going to be forever? Thank God it was not. So that didn't last too long. But, and like I said, the second trimester, I feel like myself again. I hope it's not that different from the third trimester, but I'm guessing it is going to be. Anyway, so now I'm going to explain the second trimester, which, like I said, I believe started at week 12, if I'm not wrong. And this is where my shitty camera cut me off for another like 20 minutes. I guess that happened for a reason, because I don't think anyone wants to watch a 40-minute long video of me just blabbering about myself. So I might be making a part 2 if you guys want to see like a complete video about the second trimester. Clearly my outro was also deleted and not filmed. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to be notified whenever I upload. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video.